Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the freedailycoaching.com call for the day, or actually not a call, but a hangout of the day. My name is Bert Bledsoe, and I'll be your host this morning. Today is a Tuesday, and so a lot of times what we'd like to do is do some Tech Tip Tuesdays. So this morning we're going to be doing a little bit about YouTube, and many of you know that video specifically is an amazing platform. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We'll get to that in just a few moments. First off, I'd like to do a little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of welcoming to some of our visitors and our guests. I'd like to say good morning to Phil out in Minnesota. Good morning to Vicky. Dusty, it's great to see you here, sir. Hope that you're doing well. I'm sorry that the donations didn't come through or it didn't work out. Hopefully that pans out soon. I'm looking forward to getting that text that says you're going to be doing that. Good morning, John. Good morning, Pauline and Kevin. Good morning to Debbie down in Arizona. Good morning, Tom and Felicia. The rest of you, as you're popping on, good morning to you. I like to not really switch over to the attendees, but more watch the chat a lot of times in the morning. And so just wanted to say good morning to everyone. And as people log on, I know it's this starts at 8:30 Mountain Time, so that I guess would be 10:30 Eastern and 7:30 Pacific. And so because of that, there's people coming on from other calls and jumping around, and it's the early morning, and so I always try to let people have just a few minutes to settle in, do some welcomes. So if you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching the Google Plus feed, good morning to you as well. This morning, as I mentioned, what I'd really like to do is go over the some YouTube stuff. I wanted to do YouTube Made Easy. Thanks, Phil, for the comment. Great view. It's a bummer because this morning is the weather changed midsummer. Here in the mountains, you never know what's going to happen, and the weather changed. And literally, the ridge line that you see behind me there is really there's that, and then one other hill right in between myself and Pikes Peak, and it's all overcast, and we're in a big cloud here this morning, and so. You can't see the peak behind me, so I was really hoping to bring that to you. So sorry about that, but I'll definitely come to you guys again from this location so that we can, when there's a little bit more light out back, you can definitely see the peak, and it's absolutely just a phenomenal view. Let me say thank you very much to Felicia for that wonderful compliment. And let's go ahead and dive in. It's about 4 minutes past the bottom of the hour. We started, like I mentioned, 8:30. So let's dig into it. First of all, let me see by a raise of hands for those that are here live on the webinar. If I could get a raise of hands for those of you that are currently have a YouTube channel, or you're using YouTube, or you're using video in your marketing or for your business right now, go ahead and just raise your hand if you're currently using video. And then I'm going to bring someone over really quick. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can bring this young lady over, and if she comes over, awesome. I'm going to do a screen share and just want to make sure that you guys can all see it, especially with what I want to show you this morning. It's really important, so I want to make sure that you guys see that. All right. So, all right. So, all right. Tom, awesome. He's using video. Debbie, you're using video. I believe. Good morning, Fran. I saw that you just popped on. I believe Fran has done some video. Who else? Dusty is using video. Patty's using video. Awesome. I know Clive is doing some video because I know he's done some webinars. Phil, I know, is doing some webinars. Awesome. Felicia is doing webinars. So webinars count as video because when you usually, most of you are using the Google Hangouts or the webinars on your platform, I'm guessing. If you're watching this, you're probably watching it on a Google Hangout. and that's a free platform. And then the Webinars on Air is like an application, an overlay that I'm using for that. So, okay, it looks like we have a pretty good amount of our guests that are currently shooting video. So that's awesome. Good morning, Felicia. Thanks for joining me over here.
Sure, good morning.
What I want to do is I just want to do a screen share, and so that I just wanted to have someone over here just to make sure, you know, it's always nice to make sure that everyone can see what's going on, and then, you know, at least you can tell me, and if people have questions in the chat, you can always, you know, pop in and say, hey, someone, you know, said something, and like Michelle just had put in the chat, hey, she just hopped on, she's just started making videos. So just some little things like that, maybe you could just help out in that way. If
Absolutely.
anyone is doing that, what I will do too is I'll open the Q&A. So if you have a private question that maybe you don't want, you know, for whatever reason you don't want everyone to know you asked that question, you know, maybe it's a question that you think is a silly question, but it's probably not. It's probably a great question. So if you have some questions, just go ahead and just put them in the box there in the Q&A, or you can put in the chat, and Felicia will hopefully be able to translate over to me. And what I want to show you, so as we jump in here, guys, what I want to show you is really YouTube made easy. And so I want to go over here and just let me know, Felicia, that you can see it once I go ahead and do this screen share.
Okay.
And can you see it here over here?
There you go. Yes.
Okay. So what you see, guys, is very first off is my YouTube channel. So I've logged in to YouTube, right? So, and how I've done that is you can go to youtube.com and log in, or you can just be logged into your Gmail account if you're already logged in Google, like if you're using Chrome. If you're logged into your profile, it's just going to be your Gmail account, okay? And when you create your Gmail, it's going to create a Google Plus and a YouTube profile, or not necessarily create the YouTube profile, but it gives you that ability. Now you have that ability because it's all interconnected, okay? So, first, excuse me, oh my goodness, I'm sorry about that. The very first thing that I want to show you is something that I just saw on a buddy of mine's this morning, and I literally just went over to where he was at and I signed up for it, and it accepted me, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I want to share this with everyone. And so I want to go over to this tab and tell me if you can see this, because now this isn't my my tab anymore. Oops. Tell me if you can see this here where it says Creator Academy. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. So I want you guys to go Google it, and I'll try to go grab the other link because this isn't the direct page, but you can go ahead and here, you know what, I'll copy this link right here and I'll paste it in our chat. And you can go over here to this YouTube Creator Academy, guys. When you get there, it'll probably take you to their main page, and you have to like ask to be a part of it and just say ask to join it. This is literally training from YouTube. They tell you how to do this, like what they're looking for. And this is something that's really crazy. So YouTube Creator Academy, let me unscreen share for a second here, sorry. And I want to come over here and I'm going to paste this in. Boom. Okay, so you guys can try to get there through that link. I don't know if it'll take you directly to that. If not, I'll send it, I'll grab it in just a few minutes here for you to be able to grab right onto this. But this is a really interesting thing that I just found out from YouTube specifically. Now, I thought, you know how you always, when you're doing stuff, you get like that feeling, or you always have like this sneaky suspicion of this or that, and then you find out, you're like, oh, that was totally the way it is. You know how that happens sometimes along the way? Well, it's weird because as you start doing stuff like making more videos, doing more content, like whether it's blogging or videos or interacting on Facebook or different platforms, Twitter, you start to like see stuff that you never saw before, right? And you're like, oh, wow. You know, what is this? I noticed that it's doing this, like something that you never were like quote unquote maybe specifically taught. Well, by going over and following some of this, can you still hear me, Felicia?
Yes, I can. I'm just responding.
No, no, okay. It just said your voice went away, so I wanted to make sure that my sound wasn't totally out. Maybe just refresh, Dusty. So maybe if you want to just, we can just put that on the screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna respond to him.
Um, so the interesting thing is in watching these YouTube creator videos, they specifically, and this is, okay, so let me backtrack. One of the things I always say is make your videos like not too long, right? Unless it's a webinar platform like this where you're actually going to be engaging and people are going to be interacting, you're really going to hold people's focus and they're going to stay. You're going to get that retention. You want to, I personally think you want to make your videos like 3 minutes or less, and the reason is because it's people, especially on YouTube, their attention span is not that long. You have to really be like boom, in their face, engaging, exciting, like have something going on to keep their attention. So if you make them shorter videos and have like a series, you're going to get a better rate of watching. And what I mean is you're going to get more people to watch for longer. Well, this is crazy, but even YouTube tells you specifically that they used to like put the videos that were like the most watched videos up more frequently. Now, we're not talking about guys that are getting like millions and millions and millions, okay? We're talking about just videos that, you know, like the regular person that's coming onto YouTube to get your video seen. It used to be like if you had more views, you would be seen more. Well, now YouTube is really looking, they're looking to be more social, more engaging. So they literally tell you that they're looking for videos that are getting more watch time. So by virtue of making your videos shorter, if you only have a minute and a half, a 2-minute video, people are probably going to watch the whole thing. If you have a 7-minute video, a 6-minute video, what's the odds that people are going to watch all the way to the end? Unless it's maybe like a how-to video, right? A training video that they need to stay till the end to be able to finish the entire process, then absolutely you probably will get that engagement. So the community is not as strong at the time, but yeah, absolutely. And so Tom brought up a point. The training was very good. The community wasn't necessarily really strong. So I wasn't, and you know, I'm not saying don't get in the community. I was just bringing this up because this is something that's very, very simple and it's free. You can just go and watch and check this out. This is crazy. Watch their videos. Their videos are like a minute, minute 45, 2:15 during the training even. They'll have 3 videos, all of like a minute 45. Why? Well, it keeps you engaged. It keeps you active, and it allows you to have follow through and watch the entire video, therefore giving that video more weight. So YouTube specifically shows you that that is the case. So go and watch some of those videos of the YouTube Creator Academy, and that was the very first tip. So I want to give you a couple different tips. Now, some of the really fun stuff that they're going to show you is part of what I've been doing for a while. So now when I come over here, I'm like, oh wow, I'm surprised that everyone doesn't know some of this stuff. And I'm going to let some of you guys go and explore that on your own. And as some of you are going to be tapped into this massive exposure formula that I'm putting together, this is going to be a part of it. And looking at some of the analytics and the information that YouTube gives you about what's going on your channel is absolutely, it's crazy. It's crazy simple. It's crazy easy. It's right there for you. And they're going to show you in that YouTube Creator Academy some of those analytics. One of the other things, I'm going to go back to a screen share that I wanted to show you that's really cool, is the same as being able to go and look up, say, for Twitter or for Instagram, real popular, all the popular hashtags. In YouTube, you can go to youtube.com/user/trends, and it will literally give you the trends and what's trending on YouTube, which is really, really cool. Not just to see what's really popular on YouTube, but to take a look at some of these videos and see how a lot of them are a lot different in style and creation. but they're all like getting massive, massive, massive engagement. And so that's really what I want to focus on, is the ideas, that not necessarily, you know, that it's a Star Wars video. I mean, it's pretty cool just because it's a Star Wars video. I mean, how many people are going to watch it just because it's a Star Wars video? When I clicked on this page, I'm going to be honest, the very first thing I did was click on this because I was like, oh, this is probably really cool. It's Star Wars, right? Because they already have a market, and that's Star Wars people. So this is just a really cool page. You can see what's trending on YouTube. The other cool thing is it gives you more channels from YouTube. So this gives you a list of all these different channels that you can subscribe to. YouTube creator, YouTube advertisers, right? YouTube for developers, YouTube for nonprofits, right? Creators, Creator Academy, YouTube Help, YouTube Spotlight. So there's all these different groups that you can be a part of inside of YouTube. Now, the reason to be a part of these groups is not necessarily to, is not necessarily to go in there and use it like Facebook. That's not necessarily the specific purpose. The purpose is for you to be able to go in. Imagine if you go in and start training 15 minutes a week. And the reason that I'm throwing this out there is because I'm just finding some of this stuff that's on YouTube because I've been doing private video training. I literally just found people that I could get access to that were making videos, that were doing training, that had a proven system that was getting the results that I desired, and that they were obviously proving that their system worked by their results. I just went right to those people, right to those trainings, and did that. Now going back and finding out some of the things that YouTube's doing is always helpful because they're constantly tweaking and changing. It's like being on Facebook or Google Plus or any other social media, Twitter. They're constantly adapting, right? Like Twitter gave you a new like front page or whatever you call that, landing page, home page. Facebook's changed the fan page style just recently. The terms change constantly. You know, whatever it was 6 months ago, I'm not too good in the time frame here, but when YouTube came out, or 9 months ago, when YouTube came out with, oh, it's got to be almost a year now, right? I guess it was last year, when YouTube came out with the new channel design, the channel 1 design. Before that, it was a different layout. So all of these platforms are going to continually change. So having access to the people that are in charge, right, the people that are literally creating it for us and making the guidelines, is really beneficial. And the great part is, if you're doing video, and like we are and what we're discussing this morning, the training is usually video. And even on that training academy, it was really fun. You could watch a guy do the video, or you could click and go get the animated version, and instead of watching a person talk, it was like they were doing just hand-drawn art, and you could watch the visual presentation. So it's really, really helpful for you as a marketer to be able to go in and grab this access. Why not? Why wouldn't you want to have access to all of the free stuff and all the stuff created specifically to tell you what's working, what's not working? So the really cool thing I want to show you, one more thing, and we have about 10 minutes, and then I'll do some Q&A this morning. So you can ask any YouTube questions. So if you have questions about YouTube or content or how you're using YouTube, go ahead and start putting them in the Q&A. And I'll show you one more thing here on the screen share that's really cool. And check this out. I'm going to go fast, and I know there's a delay, but some of this stuff is covered in the YouTube Creator, and then I'm going to show you even more in depth how you can do this and some of the tracking, and give you some of the PDF tracking sheets, the Excel sheets that I use as part of this massive exposure formula. So let me go ahead and do this one more time. I'll go back over to this screen. Okay, so I'm here at in YouTube, and I'm going to click over on the left sidebar on the My Channel tab. And when you do that, you're going to go to like your front page, okay? And then right here, you can click on your video manager right up top of your banner. You click on the video manager, and then once you're back in your video manager, you can go over onto the left side on the dashboard over here. And if you scroll down to analytics, it's like, almost the last option. Once you do that, this will give you an overview. It'll literally tell you how many views you've had and how many minutes watched, how many likes, dislikes, comments, shares, everything, subscribers, and it will tell you your top 10 videos. So this is a really cool feature. What I want to show you is you can find out, you can click over on the left again. You're going to scroll down to where you see traffic sources. When you click traffic sources, it's going to give you this graph. But what's really cool is, look, it shows you exactly where your views are coming from. So people that are searching in YouTube, a YouTube search, an unknown embedded player, and we'll go more into this, and I'll show you where you can find this information. An external website, right? YouTube suggested video. So if YouTube suggested your video, unknown direct, YouTube channel page. So this is right off the YouTube channel page. The YouTube guide, other features in YouTube, an external application, one of my playlists, or a YouTube video annotation. So if they clicked off of an annotation from a video and it guided them to a video. So you can literally, and I want to, hold on, let me go back off of screen share here. You can literally find out exactly where a majority of your traffic comes from. And we go into this massive exposure formula. I'm going to show you how you can go in depth even more. And what this allows you to do is, imagine this. Imagine if you created one video, and let's just say that it gets about 500 searches a month on Google. Let's say that Google gives it about 500 exact searches a month. Well, let's say if you could make that one video and you could rank that video at the top of Google, and you should start generating leads from that one video. Well, what if I could show you how to get massive exposure from that one video? You could then spiderweb and literally create a little mini army of videos that not only supported that video, but made like a little video pinwheel that would feed people all in looking for that same general idea. And you would, and this is it, not even that same general idea, exact ideas that the people are looking what exactly they're searching for. You can make a video for it and rank it and have it. And so instead of them finding this other video, they'll find the exact video that they were looking for, and it will be another video of yours that will all link to these videos that are all related to each other. So that's how powerful this can be, and it's super simple. It's right there for you. This is the weird part, or the tech part, is remembering where all the information is, where to get it. Now imagine if you just had access to some Excel files, some PDFs, or some Excel spreadsheets where you could just go in and look at the spreadsheet. You could grab the information off of YouTube because the spreadsheet would tell you, go over here and grab this, go grab this, go grab this, and plugging in that information where, check this out, you plug in the data that YouTube gives you, and then you'll know what to go do. You don't have to think about it like, oh, should I do this or should I go look at this? What if you could just plug in the information and let the information tell you? Because ultimately in your business, you want to provide the solution that people are looking for. It's not just about going out and yelling your message. If people are looking for a specific thing and you can provide the answer, that's the best way, right? That's going to make it the most congruent. So we have about 5 or 6 minutes here. Sorry that I went a little long-winded on the end there and didn't leave as much time for Q&A. So let me go over to the Q&A and see. Okay, so I opened up Q&A. Do we have any questions this morning on YouTube? And if so, how can I help you this morning in your YouTube questions? And I'm glad to stay past a few minutes past the top of the hour. I know I went over a little bit. So any questions on YouTube this morning? And I know there's a little delay. So Felicia, while I'm waiting for the delay to catch up, any questions from yourself or any comments?
No, those are great tips. I mean, I just recently found that YouTube Creator Academy as well. It pops up sometimes on when you hover over your channel, a little button, at the upper right-hand corner, a little button popped up there, and I was just curious kind of as to what that was, and found the Academy that way. So so great to pull that up, because you're right. Those videos are so short, and the last thing you want to do is to lose your whole YouTube channel by breaking the rules, and they tell you exactly what the rules are.
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing that they talk about is how important it is to get subscribers. And this is why it's so important not to do like all this auto bots and like getting fake people. And the reason you want real people is because you need real customers, right? Fake people don't buy real products or buy anything that you have. They're just fake people. So why would you want that? You want to have real people, obviously. But they specifically talk about the more subscribers you have, the higher the longer the watch time you get on your videos. So more subscribers equals more watch time. More watch time equals your videos getting put up to YouTube and being seen by more people. So it is important to ask and tell your people, the people that are viewing your videos, to subscribe to your channel. Like, make that a call to action, whether you verbally say it or you verbally say it and put an annotation. You can put a button in your videos to allow people to do that. That is absolutely critical if you want to create a YouTube presence. Now we have a question in the chat. It says, do you have one specific objective for each video? Absolutely. Well, okay, let me say yes, I always have. Okay, there's sometimes two, and let me explain why two. I'm always going to give them a call to action, like, hey, almost always in most of my videos that I'm making for content or that I'm making on my YouTube channel specifically that aren't Google Hangouts like this, I'm telling the viewer to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. So that's always one goal, right? I'm always trying to get another subscriber to the channel itself. As far as the content of the video, absolutely, I try to keep it one objective. And the reason is, the more focused you are in your message, the better the result, right? If you're talking to everyone, it's like you're talking to no one. But if you're real specific about the objective, let's say, let me give you an example. Let's say we were talking about dish soap, and then all of a sudden, in addition to the dish soap, I started talking about the sponges and how abrasive some sponges can be, and pans and all this other stuff. Then all of a sudden, I got away from dish soap, and the original intent of the video was dish soap. So I try to just stay on focus. And usually, an easy way to do that in the beginning is, if you're making videos, you're usually going to be making one of two types of video, either a how-to, a training, a lifestyle, like a social interaction video, or where that video is meant to just be passive and go over time. It's not specifically meant to rank anywhere for a specific thing, like a keyword. But if you're making a keyword video, right, and you're trying to rank that, and you're doing some search engine optimization, then it's going to be really easy to stay on that objective, because you're going to focus the conversation and the dialogue, the video is going to center around that keyword. So hopefully that makes sense.
And Bert, I've got a little something to add. When you said you had the call to action for people to subscribe to your channel, I'm sure you've also got it in there for them to add comments or share, or take some other action. You can extend the tail end of your video, maybe with an outro, maybe some audio, things like that, with your call to action up there in text. Because if you notice in YouTube, at the very end, as soon as your video ends, like 12 other videos pop up. Some of those may be yours, but many of them will not be. And people's tendency is, as soon as they're given options, they're gone. If you extend that tail end.
Let me interject something.
Sure.
So the reason that I want to do this is because I used to think exactly what you're saying. I actually had an outro made. So you guys, if you go way back to some of my beginning videos, you'll see that I have an outro that's actually made that plays for about a minute, okay, at the end of my videos. And it's actually a custom outro that has like 9 different video blocks and then they're all annotized, right? They're annotated at the bottom of them, and each annotation is a link that goes to that video, but they're all my videos.
That's a fancy one.
Okay, but check this out. This is the fundamental. Okay, that idea, the idea that you have is great, right? I thought it was too. I was like, wow, that's a great idea. Fundamentally, though, here's the teeter-totter part of this, or here's the devil's advocate to that. If you're adding time, okay, check this out. If you're if you're adding time at the end of your video for this outro, right?
Right.
The time that you add on that people that the people that aren't clicking on to that they don't watch is now a penalty to you, because you're now not getting as long of a viewer watch per watch. So there's a trade-off there.
You're totally right.
Do you see
Absolutely.
how, because check this out, I used to think that way too, and then now that YouTube's telling me straight up, they're telling me if I have a 3-minute video and only people are only watching it for 2 minutes, and you have a 2-minute video and people are watching the whole thing, your video gets seen more than mine. YouTube makes it that way. It suggests it. It promotes that video more than it does mine, because yours is getting more viewership or longer retention. So that being said, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that you may want to rethink the length of the outro if you're going to have it. And how about this? I'm going to throw up something that might be a little fun thing for you here. Maybe you didn't know this. This is like a bonus tip because we're like a minute past the hour. Maybe I'll edit this off later. So to alleviate the problem that you spoke of, Felicia, with everyone's videos popping up at the end of the video, if you tag yourself in every one of your videos, so when you go to do your keywords and your tags, if you put your own name as one of the keywords, as one of the tags,
absolutely,
then guess what? Over on the right-hand side, all of those videos that are over there, you will pop up like in 2/3 of the spots, because you're related to yourself. So you maybe not at the end trailer, but over on the right-hand side the entire time, they'll see more of your stuff. So it doesn't exactly make up for it at the end, but I would, and so I didn't want to like stomp on you and say, hey, that wasn't a good idea. I wanted to say, hey, I had that same idea. I even had an outro made for it. Now I'm rethinking how effective it would be, and check this out. Maybe that's something that we should test.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I did shorten my outros. They used to be like 2 or 3 minutes long, and I brought them down to 32 seconds.
Okay, so 32 seconds is pretty good. Now, this is another thing. If you go into, okay, so and we'll get into this more later, guys. So if you have to go and you want to go to another call, I know the My Lead System Pro call is now, guys, and if you have to bail, you totally can, and you can always come back and watch us on the YouTube channel, and we'll get more in depth into this as we go into the massive exposure formula. But let me just tell you this: you can actually go into each of your videos and watch and see where the drop off is. You can watch like where viewers are watching to. So you could literally test your outro. Like, so if you have a 32 second.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's great.
Right. You know it's 32 seconds. So you could see, like, okay, so let's say, for example, we have the pickle video because you're selling pickles because at the end of the summer you're going to harvest all your cucumbers and pickle them, and you're going to can them and you're going to sell them at the local farmers market, right? So let's say you have your farmers market video. We'll call it the farmers market video because pickle video sounds silly, right? So let's say we have this farmers market video and we have a 32-second outro at the end. Well, we could see all of our views over, let's say we go back and look over a month. We could see over the last 30 days how long people were viewing, and we could see exactly when the peak time was that they were watching until. We can also see when they start fading off. So, well, first of all, it will tell us if we need the outro at all, right? Because if, let's say if 70% of the people only make it 2/3 of the way through the entire video, which is, let's say it's 15 seconds before the end of the video they're even dropping off, well, they're not even making it to the end of the video, let alone to the outro. So by taking the outro off, we literally increase our viewer watching, you know what I mean, the length of time that people are watching by a massive amount.
That totally makes sense, yeah.
Right? Because it used to be, let's say it was a 2.5 minute long video and people were only watching for 1:45. That was like the peak. Well, if you cut off a half of a minute, now it's only a 2-minute long video and they're watching for 1:45. That's pretty good.
That's much better. You're right.
Right. Your ratio all of a sudden the numbers change. So what I want to show, okay, so guys, now this is a part of the massive exposure formula, and this part of what I'm trying to convey over the next few weeks, and what I've been trying to work with some of the people that I work directly with, is this part of the massive exposure formula, of this part of the equation that maybe you don't see, because you just see Bert with a clown wig, or a Justice Egan like brown toupee wig that I put on and do impersonations, right? You just see me running around with my goats, but you don't see the back end part, right? And I mostly haven't shown that part specifically so that you would have something to look forward to, so that you would be able to see, like, oh wow, this guy's not just bouncing in the bouncy house. He's actually got a plan. There's an actual vision. There's an actual method to the madness, if you will, right? And so that's why I want to show you guys some of this, because the numbers will tell you everything, right? And I'm not trying to reduce everything to numbers, guys, because I'm a people person. That's what I do. But check this out. The way that you know what people to talk to, the way that you know who to talk to, how to talk to them, when to talk to them, the numbers tell you all that. Facebook tells you when everyone's on Facebook. So there's no use to be on there at 4 o'clock in the morning if no one's on Facebook. There's no reason to be there if no one's there, right? Same with YouTube. There's no reason to make a YouTube video about bald guys washing their hair if no bald dudes are looking to wash their hair. Make sense? Does that make sense?
Yes, Bert. It totally makes sense in a Bert kind of way.
I'm just saying, like, the numbers will tell, like, because the bottom line is this: you want to be successful, right? You want to either sell a product, you want to build a team, you want to build your brand, you want to get more exposure, you want to get the desired result. So if you want to get there, you're going to have to look at some guiding factors and see these things that will literally point you in the direction, right? Just like you go to people and mentors to find out what the action steps they were taking are. On all of these platforms that we're using, all of the answers, everything is right here in front of us. It just depends on, A, are we willing to do the work? B, are we willing to listen? Because that's really the bottom line. Because if we listen, they'll tell us the people. The numbers are the people, right? The numbers are people. They'll tell you what they're looking for. They'll tell you what they want. So, thank you for letting me rant a little bit even this morning on Tech Tip Tuesday. I hope this morning Tech Tip Tuesday was eye-opening. I hope there was something this morning that you guys were able to pull out and say, hey, that's something I didn't know. That's a great tip. Hey, that was a resource that I didn't know existed. And if that's the case, do a couple things. Go over onto the fan page, the www.facebook.com/share the secrets, right? My fan page. Go over to my fan page and do a little post. Thanks for the YouTube tips. Thanks for the Tech Tip Tuesday. Something, just a little shout out. Tag me in it if you want. Tag just the fan page. Just go out and say something about it if you got something, right? You don't have to do it just for doing it, but if you got something today and it was helpful, go out and say something about it. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming on board this morning and taking some time to get some tech tips. I'm always happy to answer your questions directly, and if there's something specific that you want to know about, if there's some kind of technical challenge that you're having and you want us to talk about that here on Tech Tip Tuesday, just shoot it over in the question and answer. Shoot me a private message, an email, shoot me a text or a call, and we'll be glad to cover anything, whether it's YouTube or blogging or it's Twitter or Instagram. If I don't have the answers and if I don't know the answers, then we'll bring someone on that does. We'll bring on an expert that does have the answers. Oh my gosh, big announcement. You guys, we talked about YouTube today, and the very first webinar that I learned about video marketing was held by a gentleman named Frank Marino, two gentlemen, Frank Marino and Mark Harbert. And I'm super excited to tell you guys, and do not want to miss tomorrow's. You want to be here tomorrow, Wednesday. Mr. Mark Harbert will be guest on freedailycoaching.com. This is his very first time here on the call or on the Hangout, so I'm super excited to be able to interview this guy. He is a huge mentor of mine, literally is the base foundation of how I started my video marketing. I've definitely been able to train with a lot of people since that beginning, but that foundation was absolutely remarkable, and that he's definitely an awesome guy, and I would love for you to uh, be able to come and visit with him tomorrow, ask him questions, and that. He's going to be here tomorrow. So I'd love for you to be able to come and participate, ask him questions, really be here while he's here. There'll be some more info going out today. Again, if you're here today and you want to go to the attend, there's a couple webinars going on today. There is the Ultimate Freedom webinar happening at 3 p.m. Eastern Time today. And there's another webinar tonight at 7 p.m. So 2 different webinars tonight at 7 p.m. If you are a referral of mine, if you are in my Lead System Pro, or not team, but you're referred by myself, Brian McDaniel, Stephen Lanesha, Rachel, Bob Clark, or Angela Hardy, we've all co-opted and we're doing some team training, and tonight Brian McDaniel is doing some training. So you'll get an email this afternoon that'll have that link. If you're not on referred by one of us, there is the Tuesday night webinar that's held by My Lead System Pro. And I'm not sure who's leading it tonight. It might be April Marie Tucker or Patricia Sweeney. They've been doing a lot on the Tuesday nights. I know that April Marie Tucker will be doing it next Tuesday. I'm not sure about this week. So that's a bunch of different webinars that are happening for you. I want to thank you all for coming this morning. We'll see you tomorrow here. Be here early. Grab your seat because we're going to start at 8:30, and you're going to want to see all of Mark Harbor. So I want you guys to go out and have an amazing day. Hey, Felicia, you could stay if you want.
Sure thing. Thanks, Bert. Great call this morning.